on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Listen, just real quick, if you can hear me, and see me, please type a 1 in the chat. All right, perfect. Bruce, you know what? It's always going to be one. It's always going to be one in every family. You going to put a 2 in the chat. Oh my goodness. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. Y'all, listen, I'm going to be playing around with noises today. I didn't do my normal intro because I'm going to be playing around with noises. What's going on, Tammy Renee? Good afternoon. So glad to see you all on. And for those of you that are also joining from YouTube, hello, hello, hello. Glad you are here with us. Let me give the YouTube people a round of applause as well, honey. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope y'all can hear it because I could not hear that applause at all, but I know I pressed it. So, what we are going to do today, I am going to teach you a specific productivity strategy today. Okay? We have been dealing with or talking about our hypothetical person who, when they did the circle of life, one of the things that they knew that they needed to work on was themselves, their personal. And so they have decided, to do the weight loss journey. And we went through the questions, went through the weekly planner. All right. Okay, you heard it. All right, okay, because I could not hear it at all on my side, and I don't know what's going on. Oh, I bet I do know what's going on. Hold on, y'all. That's my. This is what's going on. They made my microphone also my speaker, so let me do that. I don't know a lot about everything, but I know a little about something. Okay, then. All right, so what we're gonna go over today. And before I start into that, let me go into my productivity definition. I'm going to do it every single time because I want everyone to be really clear on what it means to be productive. Because I also understand that when people hear that word, they think about hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work. Just get a good, that rat race, that hustle culture. And being productive is not about being busy all the time. We confuse the two. Productivity is the act of focusing on and completing the task that need to be completed in order to accomplish the established goals that will lead you to success. So it's the act of, it's not hoping and wishing, none of that. It's the act of. So there has to be a plan that makes sense. There has to be goals that make sense. And you have to have had, I don't know if that's correct English grammar, but it sounded good to me when I said it. You have to have had a definition of success, defining success for you. If you are chasing somebody else's success goal, you're going to constantly hit that wall. You're going to be like a car spinning its wheels in mud, burning out, overwhelmed, exerting a lot of energy, and still not going anywhere. If you've ever been stuck in the mud, that's what it is to be trying to go forward and not have a clear vision and a clear definition of success for you. Okay? not somebody else's. And then, just as a reminder, SMART goals. Your goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. They have a beginning and an end. Okay. And that's why when you do the circle of life and the way that Coach Taria has it set up in the planner, you're looking at monthly goals, right? This is what you're focusing on for the month. And then we break it down by week and by day. It has to be broken down to where it's digestible. You know that old saying that says the easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. One bite at a time. Okay? So make sure that when you are creating your goals, you have put them against this SMART goal system and not created something that's really huge and generic, and it's so big that you start procrastinating. You start doing other things. You do a little bit, but not everything that you need to do. And if any of those symptoms sound like you might want to get in and look at your goals. Here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to bring up the whiteboard and I'm going to create a chart for you all today. What we're going to talk about, and definitely ask your questions. And if you haven't let your fellow BPC family members know that we are live, go on and get into the Telegram and just say, where y'all at? We live up in the Facebook group and y'all playing. Come on in. Nobody has to be on camera. Nobody has to be on camera at all. This is the perfect opportunity. And if you are new to the stream, even though I'm going over a specific thing, if you have any productivity question, whether it's what I'm going over or not, ask it. I don't want anybody to be out there hung up, confused, stuck, frustrated, none of those things. Okay. So ask whatever productivity. If you're not sure if it's a productivity question, ask it and I will let you know, honey. I will clear up all the fog. Hallelujah. Okay. Bruce, you said you went off to you. Oh, you went to YouTube. Okay. Yeah, there may be a slight delay. I'm not sure, but I'm here. I'm still here. All right, let's go over to our whiteboard. And what I am going to discuss today is another technique, another strategy on how to prioritize. Prioritizing it is huge in productivity. It is huge because if you don't know how to properly prioritize your day, then you will start doing all kinds of stuff. You will allow obligation to come in. Okay. Let me let you see me because I can't see y'all, But I'm pretending that I'm looking at. I like looking at people in their eyes. I do. The reality is, people do things out of fear. They do things out of obligation. They do things because they want to. A lot of times it's out of obligation and fear, until you start understanding how important prioritizing is. And when I say obligation, hey, Coach Taria, how you doing? Um, when I say out of obligation and fear, if you know what, let me use Coach Taria as an example. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. We all are appreciative and grateful for all that she has done in BPC, how she leads, all the things. And so if she asks you to do something, you may feel obligated even though it don't fit nowhere in your calendar, Chad. Nowhere. But because she asked and because you respect her so much, you would say, yes, that's obligation. You ain't got no time, nowhere to do nothing. But because it's her, you would say yes. That happens so often. But you know what? Coach Taria has heard, I can't do that. She has heard no. She has heard not yet. And she would much rather you be honest with her. So, because when she hands something off, she hand it off. And she'll come back around when it's time to do that checkpoint. Okay. That's when she'll come back around. And then you be looking like boo boo the fool because you really didn't have time to get it done. Prioritizing works across the board. The board. It works across, across the whole board for everybody. And you have to learn how to say no. No. Okay? It's all right. Be safe with it. Be okay with it. All right, let's go back to the whiteboard. Let me move some things over. All right, let's see if this sucker will let me draw, child, because it be having a mind of its own on most days. All right, now, on most days. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Now, I am not an artist. My youngest son, on the other hand, went to school for visual arts. And in one of their classes, they had to learn how to draw a straight line without a ruler. No tools, no devices, just you and that pencil. And he got an A in the class. He said it was the hardest class he ever took in his life. And if you look at what I just drew, you would see that I would not fare well. I would not fare well in that class at all. Hey, Wanda, coming in from the YouTube. What's up? Hello, hello, hello. It's so good to see everybody. We have a good time when there's a lot of participation because I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, yeah. Okay. So this is our quadrant. And what we are going to be looking at is, let's see if it'll let me type. We're going to have one section that says urgent. We're going to have another section that says not urgent. We're going to have a section that says important. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me erase this line up here. Bring it down some. just erase that one too. There we go. Let's bring it down here. All right, so then up here we will have important, and we will have not important. Very simple. And then we will have our options. Okay, moving to YouTube. Got it, got it, got it. All right. Then we will have our options where you all will tell me when I give you the different scenarios. Your option will be to do it, delegate it, or discard it. Those are your options. Do it, delegate it, or discard it. Now, when something is urgent, that means it's almost borderline emergency and it requires your attention. You, specifically you, if it is urgent. If it is important, that means that more than likely it has some type of timeline, deadline attached to it. It's something that needs to be done, but it doesn't mean that it necessarily have to be done by you. Okay? If it's not urgent, it gets attention, but not necessarily your attention. Okay? It gets attention, but not necessarily your attention. And then if it's not important, it get in where it fit in. It's going to get in where it fits in. And that's on what? Period. It gets in where it fits in. So let's go through a couple of, and if I need to give those definitions again, let me know. Let me check my comments out on YouTube. Okay. All right, Tammy, look, if you can travel all over the world, I know you can make it to YouTube, Chad. Okay. Miss Global over here. I know you can make it to YouTube. Hello. Hello. Yes, you can. And I'm glad you made it safely, girl. Okay. Hey, Destiny. What's up? And on period, put a T on that. On period, put a T on the end. Yes. So urgent, important, not important, not urgent. This is a way for you when you get that text message, when you get that email, when you have that phone call, you can literally go in your mind and say, okay, which one of these quadrants does this fall into? Which one does it fall into? And you have to, I'm going to say, cut away the fat. And what I mean by that is don't try to make it more important or more urgent than what it actually is for you. For you. And I need that to marinate in your shanana. Because one of the big reasons that people become overwhelmed and overworked is because they take on more than what they ever should have. And even if you are still on a 9 to 5, which I work a job as well, as a property manager, Now I do have bosses, but they're not, I'm the only boss in my office. So I roll as I do. But for those who have the supervisor right there or the manager right there, when you're asked to do a task, because there are bosses who feel like everything that comes across their desk is an emergency. But what they do is they delegate it. That's why it winds up on your desk. That's why it winds up in your email, because they are still delegating it out. Why? Because it's important, but it's not for them. It's not urgent for them. They're making it urgent for you. When you're looking at the tasks that are being asked of you, you apply this quadrant. It doesn't matter if it's business, it doesn't matter if it's personal, it doesn't matter. This quadrant works for all occasions. All occasions. So let's go through a couple of scenarios. And if the screen shrinks, it's because I'm going to the YouTube comments. The screen actually shrinks on my for me. So I don't know if it does the same for y'all, but I will bring it back up because I do have my phone up. If you have comments in the Facebook group and the comments from YouTube, I'll have to go in between screens to check. Yes, it works for all things in your life. Thank you, Tammy. Absolutely works for all things in your life. And it's very, very simple. So let's say that you, let's just say you, business owner or not, right? You are heading into the office, wherever your office is. If it's in your home, you're going around the corner or in the corner, upstairs, or you're driving to your office. You get a text message. That text message says, "Are you available for a Zoom call at 1 o'clock today to go over funding for a grant that you applied for? Are you available at 1 o'clock today to go over funding for a grant that you applied for?" Now, when people start talking about the dollars and cents and giving it away, we like we likes to come running. We likes to come running because you are talking about that moolah, that munty hunty. That's what you're talking about. The average person who is not used to using, I'm not saying you don't have a calendar, but you don't function off of your calendar. They will say, "Oh yes, oh yes, yes, that's fine. Oh yes, 1 o'clock. Okay, I can get on the Zoom. Sure, 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 sure." Ain't checked nothing. Ain't asked no questions. No question has been asked. What you focused on, or what our hypothetical person focused on, was funding and grants. Those were their trigger words. Okay. So what types of questions do we need to be asking in order to determine how to feed this into the quadrant? Based on that because that was all that was in the text message. That was all that was in the text. What questions need to be asked? Better questions get better answers all day, every day. all day, every day. And that text message just said, are you available at 1 p.m. today to do a Zoom call to go over funding for a grant that you applied for? How long is it going to be? Very good question. How long is it going to be? What else would you need to ask this person? I'm going to pull myself up on the screen. Tammy said, how does this benefit me and my business? So that's a question that you would ask yourself. And I would say, so they're implying that this was a grant that you had applied for. So somewhere is some funding. Which grant? Which grant are we talking about? What is it do you need from me? Am I required to be on this call? And does it have to happen at 1 o'clock? The question you need to ask yourself is, do I have availability at 1 p.m.? So you need to check your calendar. That's the first thing. Check your calendar and see if 1 p.m. is available. And then, as it was suggested, how long is it going to be? Because you may have 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And as Wanda had mentioned, delegate to your team. That's why you ask, is this something that I need to be on? Is there something missing from the application? Because this could be something that they could just send you some bullet points via email. If it's all due to something missing, a Zoom call may or may not get the answers if you need to submit documentation. How many of us have been on a Zoom call and been like, they could have done this in email? We did not need to be on a Zoom call for this. I done pulled over. I done made myself stationary, and y'all could have sent me an email. So even though initially, yes, I have been in many of those, like, why? There are so many other things I could have been doing and had a better use of my time. What we have to remember is other people have their own sense of urgency. They have their own definition of what's important. So they're going to present it to you that way. And when it comes across with gaps in it, that's where you have to start asking questions to make them think. Because if it's about gaps in the application, documentation that needs to be sent, instead of us doing a Zoom call, because I don't have a lot of availability today for that, can you send me what you need via email? Now, if they come back and say, well, we really need to do a Zoom, I don't know why they would really need to do one, but we really need to do a Zoom. Here we go. They really need to do a Zoom because they want to practice for your interview. And then we go back to, how much time do you need? Because when you looked at your calendar, you had a good 15 minutes. So when we go to the quadrant and they say, well, we need at least a half an hour. Okay. We need at least a half an hour. And it is to go over the interview. They want to prep you for the interview for the grant. Now, that is very important because this is funding for your business. What would be the question that you need to ask them in order to determine whether or not this is urgent? Because the interview is important. The interview could make or break whether or not you get the grant. They want to do it today at 1 o'clock. What's the question that you would ask to determine whether or not it's urgent and whether or not it needs to happen today? I wish they had some Jeopardy music on here. Is there any flexibility? Thank you, Tammy. Yes. Do we have the question could be, when is the interview? When is the interview? If they say the interview better not be interview better not be tomorrow because somebody dropped the ball. Okay. We might be looking at new team members. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody dropped the ball if the interview was tomorrow and you just now reaching out. But if they say the interview is in 2 weeks, then is it urgent that we do this today at 1 o'clock? Absolutely not. Is it important? Yes, but it's not urgent. Okay. So then what you could do, obviously, you have to be the one to do the interview because of the nature, but you don't have to do it at 1 o'clock today because you don't have that time. So what you would do is go into your calendar and say, listen, I certainly understand the urgency of this. However, I don't have the availability at 1 o'clock. And you would propose another date and time or just another time. You may be available at 4 instead of 1. The point of that scenario was to show how easy it is to get sucked in to something that sounds important, something that sounds urgent. But when you actually start paying attention to what was written in the text, it may not be so. Once you start asking the right questions. As Bruce said, better questions get better answers. And I'm that person, which at one time I had thought I was going to go to law school when I got to Chapel Hill. I thought I was going to go to law school because I'm that person. I answer your question. I answer you based on your question. And that's how I've taught my children. If there's a certain way you want me to answer, then you need to ask that question better. I don't have time to read your mind. Is the sky blue? Yes. That was a yes or no question. Is the sky blue? Yes. You didn't ask me anything about the weather. You didn't ask me about the clouds. You didn't ask me if it was raining. You didn't ask if you said is the sky blue? Yes. So when you get these requests coming in, don't add your assumption to it because you could be creating a level of importance or urgency that's not actually there. Then you would have been sitting on a Zoom call saying, I done rearranged my schedule for this. I done shifted myself for this? Yes, because you didn't ask the right questions. The other thing you want to remember, and I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it because I know consciously people are aware, but it's the application of the thing. When a person comes to you, it's important to them. And if you minimize what you're doing or what your goals are for the day, then what you've said is what they've got going on is more important than what I've got going on or what I need to do. The goal is to find that happy medium to see where the flexibility is and go from there. Now, if you were to look at your schedule and you were available from 1 to 3, then you could say, yeah, let's go ahead and knock it out, get it out of the way. That's fine. But again, how long? If it's going to be 30 minutes, I'm going to give you 45. Just a cushion. I'm going to give you a cushion. What do I need to bring? Do I need to bring any documentation? Is the interview going to allow me to have the application in front of me, or am I just coming with myself? Because if we're prepping for the interview, we want to simulate what's going on in the interview. So these are additional questions that you want to ask, because if you don't have that information with you, you got to go get it. Do you have time to go get it and not mess up your calendar? Do you see how it could just literally be a domino effect if you aren't really thinking about the urgent and not urgent, important, not important, and really training your brain to ask the right questions? Because you could put yourself into a bind, which creates stress, unnecessary stress. Let's see what's going on in YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know everybody knows what I'm talking about. And I also know that people get annoyed with me because I ask a lot of questions. And if 1 and 1 ain't adding up to 2, I might move. I might move on. I train my kids when they would come and ask me something, like if they wanted to go over such and such's house, or if they wanted to do whatever. If I had to ask more than 2 questions, it was not well thought out, and the answer was automatically no. Automatically. Because you're just coming to me with a fleeting idea or an emotional thing. You've not actually thought it out. And what this is good practice for you and your team, or when you get ready to build your team, because you're going to make them, without being rude or mean, you're going to make them come to you with a well thought out plan versus just popping off ideas, unless that's the purpose of the meeting, unless you specifically ask for that. You're going to train them on how to function in a more efficient and productive level. If you're always spoon feeding, then what you're building is a team full of children versus a team full of productive and efficient people. I'm going to say that again, and I might pass a plate. I might pass a plate on that one. I just might, because I don't think I've ever said that before. So hold on, where my music at? Where my sounds at? Hold on. Uh, that right there. If you are constantly spoon feeding, then you are creating a team full of children versus productive and efficient people. Okay. So you have to get into the habit of thinking about the 20 questions, and it will train your team to do the same thing. All right. Are we ready? No children on the team. No, because we are not a child care center. That's Deshanda's area. And let me tell you something. What I don't like to do, oh my gosh, is babysit adults. I can't. I can't. I can't. I'm not good at it. I'm not. I'm not. I'm horrible. Okay, so let's do another scenario unless there are any questions. And I'll wait a little bit because I know there is a delay. Are there any questions about this scenario and what we just talked about? All right. So let's go to another scenario. And if you think of any questions, because I know you got to process it. If you think of any questions, just put them into the chat. Put them into the chat and I will see it and we'll come back to it. I don't want you to feel like, oh, because she's moved on, I won't go back to it. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, yes, I will. Definitely. Definitely. All right. So, yeah, no children. We are not babysitting adults. We all grown up in here on today. On today and tomorrow. What? We are all grown. All right. Next scenario. So that was a text message. Now, some people feel like if they get us on the phone, oh gosh, then they got us because it's easy for it's easier for people to say no behind a screen, right? If it's text message or email. But if it's a phone call or you got to look in their pupils, for a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, even CEO level people, it's harder. That's why they have an assistant to go do it. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick story. When I was an office manager at a cleaning company, the owner, because I worked directly with the owner, um, he called me. I had just pulled into the parking lot. Let me put it back to me. I will never forget this forever. I had just pulled into the parking lot and he called me. I had not even like put my car into park yet. He called me. He said, "You at the office yet?" "Yeah, I just pulled up." He said, "I need you to do something." "Okay. What you need me to do?" "I need you to call such and now, first of all, let me set the stage. It's Christmas Eve. It's December 24th. Okay, it's December 24th. He says, "I need you to call XYZ person. Tell him I don't need him no more." I said, "Wait a minute. You want me to fire somebody on Christmas Eve? You want me to fire somebody on Christmas Eve? Do you know that it's Christmas Eve? Yeah, I don't need him no more. I said, so the time you took to call me, you couldn't have took that same time and called them to tell them that they were fired. Why you got me doing it? Oh no, that's when the stuttering start. I said, don't even worry about it. Don't even, okay, I got it. No problem. No problem. So that's what I had to do on Christmas Eve. Fire somebody. They were supposed to work that night because it was a floor job in a hospital. And I had to call them and fire them on Christmas Eve. It doesn't matter the level. Many people don't like that that confrontation. They feel like it's confrontational when it's on a phone or when it's face to face. So that phrase, get somebody else to do it, that's how they function. So they feel like it's harder to say no if they're in front of you. So let's say you get a phone call. It's not a text or an email, it's a phone call. And the phone call is actually one that you've been waiting for. Okay. Let's say it's a client that you've been nurturing. Okay. Because we have seen the testimonies where folks say they've been watching Coach Taria for 2 years, 3 years. I think Wanda and Tammy are in that ocean, right? Y'all was swimming in that ocean. Have been watching her for 2 or 3 years. And this was this was going to be a VIP client. Like they was ready to do the do. And they call you because through the BPC system, you don't have to put your actual phone number in there. They can call you through the system. So you get a call and they say, hello, um, uh, such and such. My name is Angela and I've been following you and blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to set up a call with you um, just to get more information about whatever your premium product is. But let's say this premium product is $7,500. Okay, whatever the product is, let's say it's $7,500 because we are moved and motivated by money. Let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. Hello. We are moved and motivated by money. So your heart, you start getting heart palpitations. Ooh, somebody wants my premium product. Angela says, I know I probably have caught you at a bad time. Do you have time now to talk about it? What do you do? Tell me in the chat. What do you do? Because you've been waiting, honey. You've been waiting to sell that premium product. Okay. You've been waiting. What do you do? And Lord, let me check my time because, it's almost 2:00. Yo, our hour is almost up. Lord have mercy. We're going to continue this. Okay. Yes, look them in the eyes. Yes, you got to. You got to. I love doing it. What? So what do you do? Talk to me. She has called you. She wants to talk about the premium product. And she wants to know if you have time right now because she's interested. Talk to me in the chat. What do you do? She is interested in your premium product and she wants to talk about it right now. What do you do? Y'all giving me crickets now. Do y'all want me to just give all the answers? I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna give all the answers. But what should be the first thing that you do? And I'm looking to the side. I know it looks like I'm not looking in the camera because I'm looking at the comments to make sure that I don't miss any. For those that may be wondering, why is she looking off in the corner? Because I'm looking at the comments, ma'am and sir. So we've got Angela on the phone, and she wants to know if right now is a good time to talk. So you first, if you don't remember your calendar, you say, "Oh, hold on, real quick. Let me check and make sure, and let me check and see when my next appointment is." Look real quick. Your next appointment is in 7 minutes. Oh, I'm making it tight. I'm making it tight, honey. So then you say, Angela, I literally have an appointment in about 7 minutes, but did you have some questions or were you ready to move forward? So did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you have some questions or are you ready to move forward? Because if Angela has been following you all this time, she's been getting your emails, she's been getting the text messages that you've been sending through the BPC system. She does have an idea of your product. You've been including your capture page on there so that she can get through, get your hook item and go through. So she has a good idea. And that's why you asked that question. Do you have questions or are you ready to move forward? What would y'all do next? If she said, I have questions, what would y'all do next? Set up a meeting to discuss it. If she says she has questions, it's more than likely going to take more than 7 minutes. So when you look at that quadrant, yes, it is something important. But she didn't say she was ready to buy now. She's got additional questions. So you might say, Angela, I do have another appointment um, right now in about 2 or 3 minutes. And I absolutely give all of my clients my undivided attention because I consider all of my clients priceless. And I certainly want to give you that same service. So, how about are you available at such and such time? So, it was important, but it wasn't urgent. It didn't have to happen right then, right there. Now, if she said, I'm ready to buy, baby, I'm going to send you a link and you can process your payment through that link. It is 100% secure. If you have any questions, just let me know. Boom, boom, done. Still a 2 to 3 minute phone call. But the invitation was something that probably would have taken 15 to 20 minutes. But when you start asking the right questions and help to put everything in perspective for everybody, then you see that yes, it's important, but no, it's not urgent. Even with the purchasing of my $7,500 product, if my BPC system is set up correctly, the way it needs to be, all I have to do is send her a link, and I can send it via text, via email, whatever. And she can go ahead and move forward. And once she pays, we can go from there. Now, if you are in BPC and you are needing assistance with the system, Amna is our girl. She does the calls, she sends the replays. Definitely get that on your calendar to handle. If you are needing more assistance with your productivity, with getting things organized, putting things in perspective, getting rid of that overwhelm, that overworked whole process, then we need to chat. Okay? We need to chat. So we can do this one or two ways. You can go, and I'm going to put this in YouTube and in Facebook group. You will go to this site and book that time with me. Let's get rid of that overwhelm. Let's get rid of feeling overworked. Let's get rid of all those hats that you're wearing that actually aren't benefiting and paying you the way you need to be paid. And being paid is not just about money. It's not just about money. You can be paid in peace. Okay. Hello. A lot of people don't have peace in their lives. But when you are executing properly, you become more efficient, more productive, more prosperous in every area of your life. It's all about the balance. I want to give two more reminders. If you have not purchased your profits planner, have not registered, if you can get to Greensboro, North Carolina, you need to register for the Minding My Business conference that will be taking place on September 27th. This conference is free, but you must register, and you have the opportunity to upgrade to VIP. There's going to be some amazing speakers that's going to pour into every one of the attendees. I'm talking about retirement planning, insurance planning, productivity, MWBE certification, all the things. Okay. Last year, we focused on one set. This year, we're focusing on something else to give you the tools and resources that you need to take your business further. And you're also going to eat. Lunch is provided. So make sure you register. If you cannot attend, share the information. Share the information. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Tammy and Wanda and everyone else that's been interacting. We are going to continue these scenarios just to help you get into practice of asking these questions. Okay? So that you're enjoying your journey and not stressed out with your journey. All right? So y'all have, let me say this. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Anything that I need to repeat? Anything that I need to go back over? Are we copacetic? Are we cool? All right. And y'all encourage your BPC family to join us. We're doing this during lunchtime. Encourage them to join in. I love the interaction. And I pray that you all have a fantabulous rest of the day and the weekend. And I will talk with you next time, second and fourth Fridays. Y'all take care. Bye bye.